Once again, we have to go upstairs in order to enter Tartarus. But, let's go. I'm at a point to go tonight because a certain new recruit of ours will be in great condition due to the fact that it's the first day he's joined. So, probably going to get a lot of use out of that. And I practice run, he criticaled here a lot, so I hope that luck carries over to this, though I highly doubt it. So anyway, Ken's all the way over here. Yeah, he puts a lot of distance between himself and the rest of the group, but the entrance to Tartarus has got a lot more crowded lately. Just look at all the party members we have now. We've gained access to a lot in a short span of time. Anyway, first things first, naturally Ken is feeling great. First thing I want to do though is, I want to change his equipment. His weapon is good, but I am not keeping him with this kind of armor. So, let's see, what do we got here? Bulletproof vest, +2 strength. I feel like the +2 magic might be more useful. And then soccer shoes. Silent sandals are the best we have. And that wristband is useless, so not much. But spell ring may be useful. So anyway, this is Ken. And here is his persona, Nemesis. Oh boy, it's time for the most controversial party member in the entire game. Yeah, this is gonna be, fun. Story-wise, we'll save that discussion for another time. Gameplay-wise, however, Ken is the main party member in this game who often gets decried as being useless by a large portion of the fandom. Personally, I actually disagree. While Ken definitely has his flaws and his skill set is very weird, I don't think he's nearly as bad as much of the fandom thinks he is, and he can actually be very useful in a lot of situations. So I'll start with the main problem with Ken. As is perfectly fitting for a child who wants to be more like an adult, he tries to do too much at once. Ken's in-battle specialties are all over the place, using hammer-based instant death, thunder magic, pierce physical attacks, and healing. All except one of the above are done better by other party members who specialize more clearly in those things. So let's cover the one aspect of his that no one else can do, light magic. Even in this regard, Ken is a little bit flawed, because he never learns multi-targeting light spells, only single-targeting ones. Then again, given how unreliable multi-targeting instant death is in this game, that might be a blessing in disguise, as is the fact that usually you don't have many situations where every single enemy on the field is weak to instant death, which are pretty much the only situations you'd want to use a multi-target instant death spell in. But against enemies that are weak to light, Ken can be very effective. Again, Hammer and Mudor are not great in this game. They got buffed heavily in later games in the series, so that is certainly a problem if you're specializing in that area. But like I keep saying, most enemies that are weak against Hammer or Mudor are usually very hard to take down without them, so having that as a specialty definitely helps, as does the resistance to light. Especially light, because I do find that a lot of very problematic bosses use light magic, so Ken's resistance is actually one of the most useful things about him. Trust me, you'll be surprised how big of an asset that is. Anyway, now on to his other skills. Starting with the bad. Ken's Zeo skills are really there only if Akihiko isn't in the party, or if he needs some method of doing damage and the enemy is resistant to physical attacks. They're really just filler on his skill set, basically. Though at least he has some method of dealing both physical and magical damage, and he's actually decent at both of them, unlike many other characters in this game. Next up, the pierce attacks. Again, Aigis and even Junpei do pierce attacks better. However, Ken learns a few very unique ones. The main one you'll see here is Cruel Attack, which, while it's also a pierce damaging physical skill, it does extra damage if the enemy is knocked down. At this point in the game, that extra damage is really significant. It is pretty much a guaranteed instant kill on anything that's already been knocked down, and that does help out in a lot of situations. there are also some bosses in the game that will actually take more damage from the boosted cruel attack than they would from an all-out attack. As for his standard attacks, Ken uses spears, which are a pierce weapon, just like two other party members that we have, and unlike the two other pierce party members that we have, he can fall over. Though, he does tend to be a bit stronger than either of those two when actually attacking. That's mainly due to spears coming so late into the game that most of them are pretty powerful. And let's just say that much later in the game, he might learn an ability that makes that even better. So, for physical damage dealing, don't underestimate Ken. He can actually do a fairly good job, though it's a shame that he is using a type of weapon that is able to make him fall over. Now we come to healing, and this is actually where I find Ken really shines. Ken is the second best healer in the game next to Yukari. Now, normally, being the second best at something would not be a good thing. The thing is, like I've hinted at many other times throughout this series, there are many moments where you don't want to use Yukari. She can be a liability against enemies that have a lot of Zeo skills, and her sharing a weakness with Aegis is a definite problem. Ken has neither of those issues. In addition, Ken is also physically tougher than Yukari, so he can take a lot more punishment than she can, and as a healer, that is definitely a good quality to have. Overall, I feel like Ken falls under what TV tropes would call "this looks like a job for Aquaman" in many cases. For those whose lives haven't been ruined by that website, it basically means a character who has a superpower that is normally pretty useless, but in certain very specific situations, they just happen to be the most valuable member of the team. They just suffer from the fact that those specific situations are often quite rare. In Ken's case, while, yeah, everything individually he does is done better by another member of the party, there are a few members who can do everything that Ken does at once, and there just happen to be quite a few Tartarus bosses that seem suspiciously tailored for Ken's exact skill set. And these bosses happen to be some of the tougher Tartarus bosses and the most infamous ones in the game. And it's a shame that so many people decry Ken as useless, because maybe if they'd used him a bit more like I did in my first playthrough, they wouldn't have found these battles as difficult. So don't count Ken out entirely, you may be surprised. Ken's persona is Nemesis, who is primarily known today as a goddess of retribution against those who suffer from hubris from Greek mythology, though this is mostly brought on by Greek tragedies. Originally, Nemesis just meant the distribution of fortune, neither good nor bad, given out equally according to what was deserved. She later came to represent resentment towards the distribution of these proportions, and a sense of justice that could not allow that imbalance to go unpunished, which eventually evolved into the interpretation as an agent of divine retribution. In fact, a previous persona that we've used in this playthrough is actually related to Nemesis. She was the one who cursed Narcissus. Also, scholars seem divided as to whether she was a child of Erebus and Nyx or a child of Zeus. Admittedly, pretty much everyone has a chance of being a child of Zeus in Greek mythology, so, that's not really all that much of a surprise. If she was a child of Zeus, she'd actually be related to Polyjuices, which is Akihiko's persona. And now, as for Ken's voice acting, this one is actually kind of weird. We actually don't concretely know who voices Ken in the English version. And he's really the only party member that doesn't have a 100% confirmed voice actor. In spin-offs, he's voiced by Cindy Robinson, that much is sure, but in the original Persona 3, it's not confirmed. It's suspected to be Mona Marshall by several sources, and that definitely has some credibility to it, seeing as she also plays Chidori in this game, and this game does double up on voice actors in a few cases. If Ken is voiced by Mona Marshall, she also played, well, according to her list of roles, she was Helga and the Gadgetron Help Desk Girl in the Ratchet & Clank series, Sonia Rolando in Tales of Exilia, otherwise known as Leia's mum, otherwise known as the one person in existence that Gaius, that game's Gaius, does not want to fight under any circumstance, and that's really saying something, and Bellius in Tales of Vesperia. But again, take this with a grain of salt because it's not been officially confirmed. And to be honest, it's probably a good thing that Ken's voice actress in this game is not 100% confirmed, because Ken's voice is generally not all that well liked here, and it's one of the reasons he's not that popular of a character. So, yeah, in only one level he's going to get Diorama. That's going to make him a lot more useful, so I want him to get that level up as soon as I can, and I want to add him to my party now, because given that he's just joined, I want to try him out. Also, this next area of Tartarus is actually very much designed for Ken. You'll see when you see the enemies. Anyway, gonna add Junpei, because Junpei promised to act as Ken's senpai. And speaking of senpai, it's Mitsuru time. Because originally I went with Akihiko, I don't think that's a good idea. The enemies in the next area are not kind to him, and Mitsuru is a bit more effective against them. So, gonna go with this party, and, whoops, almost forgot something very, very important. In fact, it's so important that I wrote it in my notes in big, giant, all capitals. I need to accept the Elizabeth request for the tiara hair. Because in my practice run, I forgot to do that, and I was like, huh, why aren't the tiaras dropping stuff? And then I realized, yeah, they only do if you've accepted the request. Now, notice the floor number there. Floor 102 to 113. 102 is not directly the next floor after where we got up to, so it's actually going to be a few floors before we start seeing new enemies. But there are quite a few new enemies here, and I want to show off most of them if I can. Now, when I get back down here, I'm going to be doing some fusions, but first I want to level up a bit more and pick up some more personas in Shuffle Time. I want to go to about level 37 to 38. So anyway, yeah, we're only up to floor 98, and we need to go to 102 before we see new enemies, so I'm not likely to show very many battles in the first few floors we explore this session. I forgot to save. I guess I didn't lose that much progress. Now, look, matching spears. So, something that I want to show here is Ken, being a male party member, has a unique outfit for the Shirt of Chivalry. So I'm going to go ahead and just show what his looks like. Ken reacts very embarrassed to this, but it really doesn't look that bad on him. It's pretty much just his normal outfit, just palette swapped. Now, the kanji on Ken's back with the Shirt of Chivalry, for reasons, I'm not going to explain what it means. So, back to the Tiger Hide belt. Yeah, as you can see, Shirt of Chivalry on Ken is basically just his normal outfit but palette swapped, so I don't see why he got so embarrassed about it. But anyway, I'm still gonna use this spear. I actually quite like it. I never really used spears very much in my first playthrough, but they don't have that long of a wind-up time, and they have good reach and good power, so I actually quite like them now. Anyway, I guess I can get into a battle here to show off Ken, if possible. Synchronized spear twirling.
There are 3 enemies. Be careful.
Okay, Ken is going second. I don't know if that's affected by Great Condition or not, but, these enemies, I can very easily just Maragi them all, but should I let Ken take care of this? I'm gonna just try. So, and there's that amazing voice clip of his. I was hoping Junpei would pick up the slack here. So many of Ken's voice clips have gone mimetic. Well, at least to me. There's a... Much like Fuka, there's a remix on YouTube of a lot of Ken's voice clips that I found hilarious. So, I've got to know a lot of Ken's voice clips quite well. So yeah, I'll be amusing myself a lot this session.
Here's a chance. Let's get it.
I was hoping I'd see Ken's all-out attack quote there.
That was a great battle.
And what do we got here, Sarasvati? Well, that experience card, 3, is one step closer to... It is, in fact, not one step closer to Ken getting diorama, because that was a stat boost. And Sati leveled up. Okay, then. One step closer to Sati getting diorama, but that's in another level. Actually, Discharm, I should not be complaining about Discharm. You'll see why eventually. I should have healed Junpei, I just realized. Huh.
4 enemies. They seem rapid.
So yeah, you'll notice the enemies are starting to appear distressed at this point. That means we're much stronger than they are, so not that much worth our time to fight them. Ooh, not good. Is King Frost gonna have more success than Mitsuru? No, it isn't! I also just realized probably the reason why King Frost misses all the time is that its agility is terrible. Sometimes I forget that agility also affects hit rate in this game as well as evasion. And King Frost's agility is extremely bad, so that must be why. Oh, okay! This is gonna be a good attempt to demo this. Look at that damage! Cruel Attack is true to its name against downed enemies.
1 enemy left. Here's our chance. Let's do it.
And there's Ken's all-out attack quote.
Understood. The battle's over. Good.
Okay, I do not want Queen Mab. I would like Kusi Mitama. I'm gonna need that, actually. Hey, level 37. Good. Again, ideally, I would like 38, but 37 is Natsu Taishi, I believe. You know... Okay, there's a chest there. I don't think we should be wasting too much time with these floors. I think we'll just go straight to the floors that have new enemies on them. But first, I am going to heal. Actually, Medea is more cost-effective at this point. Speaking of cost-effectiveness of Dia versus Medea, I've realized this is a tangent for another game I'm playing, but in Digital Devil Saga... Medea actually costs very slightly more than individually casting Dia on your whole party. So, I'm guessing what it's meant for is, it's meant like as in... should I fight one of those knights? It's meant for emergency healing in battle, because sometimes the effect of healing your whole party at once is worth the slightly higher MP in that game consumption. But outside of battle, in that game, it's more efficient to just individually Dia everyone. Okay, we're on 101. We're not quite up to the new enemy floor yet. So I'm just gonna basically skip through this. Okay, that was a pretty linear path. And now we are at the new enemy floor, so I'm gonna be fighting more stuff here. So, yeah, there is, of course, a boss here, like always, but it's going to take a while for Fuka to pinpoint it. In the meantime, let's see if there are any new enemies. What do we got here? Aha! Tiaras! Good.
There are 3 enemies. Be careful.
3 shouting tiaras. We need 5 strands of their hair.
Give me a sec. I'll scan the target.
And I have actually forgotten what these things are weak to. I want to guess... I was about to say fire, but then I realized, wait, they just used it. Okay, they're weak to ice then.
It has multiple weaknesses.
And to dark, so Koromaru will be useful here, but Mahama's a little bit terrifying, but this is actually the reason why I brought Mitsuru. Well, this is one of the reasons why And she doesn't use ice, of course she... Wow, you're in great condition, you should not be missing like that. Hey look, that dodge fire actually worked! And that's the first battle that I've ever had dodge... Wait, was that... I don't know if that was Ken's dodge fire or King Frost's dodge fire. Though I think one of them is evade fire, not dodge fire, but anyway. See, normally having a fire weak persona against enemies that use fire but are weak to ice
Here's a chance.
is not the best, but in this case I've got dodge fire, which is not entirely reliable, but it can help sometimes, like there.
That was a great battle.
Okay, how much hair do we get from that? Well, we'll have to see later. 1 and 2. I don't need power. And 1 again. Another bit, and we only got 1 tiara hair. Oh well. They like to show up in pretty large groups. We'll get many, many more chances to fight them. Why do I keep getting beast fangs, though? I've long since made better weapons than that. Hello. And that could have been close. Oh, these things!
There are 3 enemies. Be careful.
Ken? Where are you? I'm trying to prove that you're not useless. Get over here.
Got it. I'll ask the others.
You will
for
not
help.
shirk your battle duties.
Give me a sec. I'll scan the target.
So, Almighty Hands. These things are by far my least favorite enemies in this entire area. They are extremely frustrating, and they are the other reason why I didn't bring Akihiko here, because Akihiko does not like getting hit by these things. Gonna go ahead and equip King Frost. Oh, that's cool.
Ken-kun is on his way.
And that's why I didn't bring Akihiko. And also another reason why I brought Mitsuru.
No one else is coming.
Well, naturally, that's the entire party.
Use Muto skills.
So, yeah, the other reason why I hate these things. Their only weakness is dark. Yeah. That is always extremely frustrating. And they also have Hama and Mahama. Ah, but I can do that. Oh, that's... Don't I have reduced stumble on her? Yeah, that's very weird. Okay, Ken is going next. I could switch to a Mudo persona, but I don't really fancy my chances. I think I'd have better luck just fighting them normally.
Last one.
This may miss. Yes, I thought so. These things seem to have quite high evasion.
Junpei-kun.
Oh, nice dodge,
Hang
Ken.
in there.
And nice barely surviving Junpei, and nice heal Mitsuru. You're getting
If
rushed.
you get into trouble, run.
Nice one.
That was easy.
Guess that's Ken's victory animation shown off there. And still not the persona I'm looking for. You just went #1 twice. Okay, anyone? Okay, Junpei needs slight healing. Mitsuru may need slight healing as well, but not really that dry. Okay, small shadows in this area are something to be afraid of. They are this thing,
There's one enemy.
the Jotun of Power.
Give me a sec. I'll scan the target.
This thing has Bufudyne, it has no weaknesses, and it has a ton of HP. So, it's a pretty dangerous foe to be fighting. I've actually nearly died to these things in practice a few times. So, the most effective way to fight these things is to hope that Ken gets criticals. And he did not there.
Ice won't work on this one.
Yeah, oh, in addition to all of that, it can heal itself and it can also self-destruct. So, yeah, 807 HP as well. These things are pretty much, and of course that happened. Oh wow, it actually worked, nice. Please use diorama. Thank you! Wow, finally getting an enemy to actually do that to me for once, rather than having that done to me by an enemy. Let's lower your defense. Really, the main useful skills against these things are debuffs, criticaling them, and speaking of criticaling them,
Here's our chance. Let's do it.
I like Ken's critical animation quite a lot, though I just realized he's channeling Hinocopter a bit at the end. But yeah, criticals, debuffs. Uh-oh, that's dangerously... Up! What are you doing,
This
Mitsuru?
can't be.
Oh, don't explode, please. Thank you. Thank you, Junpei.
Who's the man?
That could have been very bad if that thing had exploded. So yeah, those things are actually pretty terrifying. Now, seeing as... Okay, so they're not weak to Hammer or Mudor, but they have a lot of HP and no weaknesses. So it might actually be worth it trying to go for instant death on them. Because if it does work, it saves you a lot of time and effort. And my screen glitched up for a second there, I just noticed.
There are 3 enemies. Be careful.
Anyway, Phantom Lord. Like always, anything with Phantom in it is usually a bad sign.
Give me a sec. I'll scan the target.
This Phantom, however, is actually quite weak to Ken, so another reason why I brought Ken here. And I'm gonna stay on this persona because I like it, and you know what? Hey, you're almighty hands. Have some almighty damage. Don't really need to do this, but really? Okay, well, I can understand why he's not doing it because
The analysis failed.
yeah, he screwed up my attempt to analyze because he killed the thing. So that thing is weak to Hammer, as you could probably tell by saying that Ken is good against it.
That one just won't die.
So there are quite a few things in this area that are weak to Hammer. That is one of them.
Last one.
And that is 3 in the space of 2 battles, and of course only one of them has succeeded. Yeah, at the moment Ken is basically going to be spamming Cruel Attack. It is quite powerful for this point in the game, so it's pretty much fine. It is a Pierce attack though, remember? So any enemy that is resistant or immune to Pierce is going to... That was... Thank you, there we go. That was very underwhelming for a 5 coin though.
Junpei is leveled
Okay, that's good. The level up I'm looking for is Ken, though, because that's going to get him Diorama. Although, admittedly, the next boss is going to be easier if Ken doesn't have Diorama, but I'd like him to have Diorama just in case. So far we only have 1 Tiara hair. That's a problem. Let me just check my notes to see other info about Phantom Masters that I missed. Phantom Lord.
There are 3 enemies.
Oh,
Be
and these things are
careful.
back again. So let's see if I can just boof with them. Phantom Lord, weak to light, Nullfire, and yes, like I thought, it has
Enemies
Mamudo.
off balance.
Shouting
Attack.
Tiaras,
Here's our chance. Let's do it.
yeah, they just have Mahama, lots of fire stuff. Oh yeah, something that I just noticed. In my notes, I have written next to Yotion of Power, Negado Gems not worth it. Because I tried that, because I was like, oh hey, it's, is it that one? Okay, well, I would have liked the experience more than the coin anyway. Because I was like, oh hey, they're not weak to anything, let's try Almighty. And it just, seriously, like I said in my notes, not worth it. They don't do much at all, so... Save your Negado Gems for something else. And we're all feeling pretty great, no sign of tiredness, so let's keep going. You are a Jotun of Power. You are not a Jotun of Power. You are also new.
There are 3 enemies. Be
Well, semi-new. The Furious Gigas did appear as a boss earlier on,
careful. Give me a sec. I'll
and I
scan the target.
believe this is one of the few things that actually retains its weakness from the boss fight. It's weak to wind. So... Where is my wind persona? Okay, there's Impulsa, which has extremely bad endurance. And one of them's only second. Okay, so I'd actually... The problem is that
Give me a sec. I'll scan the target.
I need the scan to go through for Ken to be effective. What am I on currently? I'm on King Frost. Mitsunu has pretty good endurance and has counter. Yeah, I may as well equip this. You can probably tell why I would like... That is a risk I don't want to take. Why I would like the scan to go through before Ken attacks. Oh, that's not... Oh, nice dodge.
It has multiple weaknesses.
So yes, these things are also weak to Hammer. So again, Ken is quite useful here. And it's got power charge just like the boss fight. And hey, the scan did go... The scan, yeah, I combined the names. The scan did go through before Ken moved, but unfortunately he fails. That was pretty... Why is everyone falling over lately? I wonder if I should go for more Hummer, or if I should... I do have Tartarus with Hummer, which has relatively okay endurance. Dodge, slash, these things use Strike though, which is maybe not as useful. But let's just go for the one with the most HP.
Enemy defeated.
That's cool.
You've improved.
Okay, one down. Let's see if I can get the other one. 2 down.
Enemy down. 1 to go. You've improved.
Okay, if I hit this thing, I was gonna say I leave it to you, Ken, but if I hit the thing, Ken's gonna try and physically attack. Okay, so I'm gonna try for this. If this fails, I leave it to you, Ken. It did not fail. Nice.
No shadows are left.
So, for some reason in practice, I always found that my own Tartarus using Hummer was more effective at hitting than Ken was. I think it might be partly none of those are what I want. 2... that was like 5? I was right. I mean, it was useless, but it was the one I was going for. But yeah, like I was saying, I think it's to do with the luck stat. That is much better than the coin cards I've been getting. From what I've read, there's an initial, like, hit roll that determines whether the instant death spell hits, and then there's another roll that's based off of luck, which determines whether it actually works or not. Now, in Persona Q, Ken had an insanely good luck stat. He got buffed pretty heavily in that game, and is one of the most useful party members actually there.
There's one enemy. Attack.
Speaking of him being useful, I kind of wish I had some way to tell him use Hummer, but I don't know if that's going to work. You aren't resistant to that, right? Oh, you are strong to Hummer, right? So best to use Mudor. Gonna see if this works. Usually Hummer or Mudor against things that aren't weak to them is not a good idea, but in this case, on the off chance it does work, it's really worth it because it saves you a lot of time and effort. Oh, and hey, and it works.
That was a great battle.
There's Kusi Mitama. And thankfully they gave me a slow shuffle. So, Kusi Mitama. Let me just check its details. It's actually pretty decent, like most Fortune Personas. It's got great luck, Garula, things, Auto Rakakaja next level. I mean, I could make a better one in the Velvet Room, but, and here's the problem. I'm gonna have to get rid of Impusa. Impusa's actually pretty cool. I've liked it a lot more than I thought I would, but, yeah, I'm gonna have to switch out Impusa for Kusi Mitama because they're pretty much the same thing. But I don't actually need Kusi Mitama for itself. I need it for fusion fodder. And hello there. I need 3 more tiara hands. Are you tiaras? You are Gigas and hands.
There are 3 of them. Strike first. Enemy defeated.
Get him!
Okay, so something that I just saw very briefly. Notice how there's a big X on these things when I have Hummer selected. That's Fuka's third eye ability. I think it's third eye.
The enemy's weak against darkness.
So that's telling me that it is null to light. I mean, I already know that. It's just saving me having to scan them again. Nice one. Nice one again.
Here's our chance. Let's do it.
Okay, so as much as an all-out attack is going to be pretty effective, I can't resist the thought of having Ken go for maximum overkill points with cruel attack right now. And he just used a regular attack. Oh well.
I guess that went.
I probably would have got a shuffle time if I'd used the all-out attack, so that worked out badly overall, but it's not too terrible. Okay, you are not a Jotun. The spear can get you around corners, which is cool. Oh, what? Why are you here?
There are 3 enemies. Be careful.
No, seriously, why are you here? Why are you existing in this floor? Oh, okay, I was hoping Ken would level up after that, because I really want to show his level up quote because it's hilarious. At least, again, unintentionally hilarious to me. Yes, they have, but so are we, and I think these enemies aren't too bad for the most part. I had trouble with Almighty Hands in practice, but that was because I was using Akihiko here. Seriously, bad idea. Don't use Akihiko against Almighty Hands. It will not end well. If you start letting them get one more, they can do some pretty serious damage.
There are 3 enemies. Be careful. You found the enemy's weakness.
The enemy's down. Let's finish this. You'll fall by my hand.
That was a great battle.
And that is a bad shuffle time. Okay, that is all the tiara's hair we need. Good. The tiaras aren't particularly that tough to fight, so it's not really that bad of a request. The night one is pretty brutal. And you are... Of course!
There are 4 enemies.
After I get the amount of tiara's hair that I need exactly, you throw 4 tiaras at me. You just completely threw me off with that. And I get 3 tiaras hair out of that when I don't need them.
My skill level has increased.
Okay, that's good. Huh, another one of those. Let's see if Mitsuru can use that. Let's just ignore the fact that she's being impaled them. What? Huh? Huh. I was not aware that you were wearing the high cut armor previously. But Tetrajammer is a lot better. Oh, right, you got the evade slash low. You don't have to use stumble anymore. Which would explain why you're always falling over. And yes, we are impaling her. Let's just ignore that for now. We have Kusumi's helpful win. I am so glad that did not preemptive me.
There are 2 enemies.
So, this could end very, very badly. But we are going to live dangerously.
That's it. The enemy is down.
Here's our chance. Let's get him. Get back here, you son of a...
Huh, that may have actually... Yes, nice!
That was a great battle.
That was probably thanks to Ken being really over-leveled. Which would add a lot of damage to that all-out attack. Also more yen. We've got a lot at the moment, and I'm going to be spending quite a bit of it on the compendium. Because let's face it, there is actually not that much worthwhile to spend money on in this game at this point. 110th floor, okay then. Oh, rare chest, okay. Oh, I was wondering, I was thinking, like, if that's the katana that I needed for that request, that'd be kind of painfully annoying. Funny story about that. So, story about a similar thing. Hi there,
There are
you.
3 of them. Strike first.
I don't like you.
That one just won't die.
Mitsuru-senpai
Notice the
did
massive increase in damage the enemy takes when it's raging? Yeah, Junpei's weapon that he's got currently is pretty awesome.
I summon thee!
Oh, now the first time Mitsuru is using that. Not quite as infamous as Marin Karen, but it's similar. So what I was saying is, yeah, so funny stories about, I've had the weirdest encounter luck with Pokemon Sun and Moon at the moment. It always takes me forever to find what I want, and once I do find what I want, it then immediately shows up again, the next encounter. Yep, you're gone. I don't really need you anyway. So, most recently, as of recording this video, I was trying to find a Mimikyu in, I don't want to spoil where Mimikyus appear, just in case people don't want spoilers. I was trying to find a Mimikyu, and it's a 5% encounter. I find one, finally, after quite a while of searching.
Watch out! There are 4 enemies.
Maybe another Megado gem might not be a bad idea in this case. I find a Mimikyu, I catch it immediately with a Quick Ball, so that's good. And then, as I'm leaving the place, literally right on the exit tile, I get an encounter. And my first thought is, if this is another Mimikyu, guess what it was? Yeah, of course, it was another Mimikyu. And I was so tempted to catch that one as well, because it was like the Mimikyu was saying, wait, no, don't go, please love me too. But, yeah, sadly, I had to use... I'll say it right here, I used the second Mimikyu as target practice for my newly acquired one.
Only 2 remain.
Which was a bit annoying, because both of us had disguise abilities, so... The first turn of the fight was essentially completely pointless by both sides. If that was a crit, that was not a crit, okay. And now I am going to just rush you.
The battle's over.
So another funny off-topic other game discussion while we're exploring Tartarus. Similar story about that is that when I was trying to find a female Salandit, I thankfully knew how rare they were in advance. Speaking of rare, I knew how rare they were in advance, and so I prepared a male Igglybuff with Cute Charm for the occasion, which, if you don't know...
Watch out. There are 4 enemies.
Is this even worth it? But running could be very, very bad. I'm just gonna stay and I'm gonna go ahead and heal Junpei. So yeah, thanks to Cute Charm, which makes opposite gender to your lead show up 66.7% of the time, regardless of normal gender ratio. Female Salandit is normally 12.5%, so definite improvement there. So I found one second try, thanks to that, and I caught it. My next encounter is a male Salandit, and first thing it does is call for help and summon a female. After I had got rid of the Igglybuff, meaning that I no longer had Cute Charm in effect. So yeah, like I said, I have the weirdest luck sometimes. It takes me forever to get what I want, but once I do, it immediately shows up again.
4 enemies left.
I just want to do this. Only one died, that's not great. And everyone's wasting time healing. See, the main reason I'm bothering with this battle is I want Ken to level up and learn Diorama. Thankfully that went for Mitsuru. See, these things are actually really, really dangerous to fight, and everyone is really low on health. My healing Persona's weak to ice, isn't she? Yes, she is. Of course. How many... Where are they? Where are my bead chains? Where are my bead chains? They're somewhere here. Yeah, there it is. You know what? I've got 6 of them. I can afford to use a few. Gonna need to save a couple for the boss, but... Bead chains are effective in a pinch like that.
Enemy to go.
Last one. Don't let your...
Damn. Couldn't finish it up.
And you didn't get a chance to
The
rage.
shadows are getting...
And what are you? Another Traesto gem. I suppose I can talk more about, I guess I'll leave it open to cut out this battle in case it doesn't contain anything interesting. Is there any new enemy type we haven't seen yet in this area? Not sure.
There are 3 of them. Strike first.
Okay. King Frost leveled up. At least anything wants you. Oh, okay, and you're going to be leveling up a bit more now that you've learned Growth 1. I can pass that to other personas through Fusion as well. And Dead End, of course. What I was saying... Oh, you're a... do I go for this, or... You know what, screw it, I'm going for it. Yeah, what I was saying was... What I was going to say was...
There are 2 enemies.
As far as weird luck, where it was entirely negative the whole time, I spent... No joke, I spent about 30 minutes trying to catch an Oranguru. Because it just kept calling for help every single time I defeated its helpers, like immediately after.
That's the way.
The enemy's down. Let's finish this.
And for some reason, it just refused to stay in the balls. Like, I don't know what its catch rate is. It seems very, very low for some reason.
What an easy win.
And it's also a 5 or 10% encounter to begin with. Good, I got it. Oh, okay, I'm glad I went for that. That's a lot of experience.
Yes, yes, yes. My skill level has increased.
Ta-da-da-da! I'm the man!
No, double level up is nice, but yes, that's the quote that I was waiting for. That quote is so funny in stupid remix videos. I don't know why. It's silly, but a lot of Ken's like Tartarus dialogue is hilarious to me.
There are 5 enemies.
Once again, why are you here? I wonder, is that extra 2 agility going to mean that King Frost will hit these things more often? Or is it still going to miss one? No, it's not! Okay, we're on 107. I am literally not paying attention to the floor number at this point, because I really don't want to jinx it, but I am not worried at all. I'm not, like, in a desperate hurry to hit a checkpoint or anything.
5 dazed enemies. Attack now.
Well, I mean, only one of them's actually dazed. And there you are, back to your old self, King Frost.
One more.
Obey my command.
Sorry for your eardrums, but I just love it when stuff like that happens. Insane overkill.
The enemy's down. Let's finish this. You'll fall by my hand.
I just suddenly thought of another... This is just a weird tangent episode, but I just suddenly thought of another weird, other game that I'm playing at the moment, tangent. I did that exact weird raspberry blowing thing when, in Trails of Cold Steel 2 recently. So in that game there are these things called monster chests, which are very obviously trap chests that contain a whole bunch of enemies and usually some fairly tough ones. So I did one and there was an enormous amount of enemies. It was very intimidating. Everyone was like, oh no, this is going to be a tough battle. Immediately... You again?
There are 5 dazed enemies. Attack now.
Well, you're closer this time, Fuka. 2 of them are dazed. But anyway, immediately, Gaius's second super move, Twin Cyclones, one-shots all of them.
Here.
Okay, then. Chest there. What do we got over here? This floor looks a bit bigger than another chest there and a dead end, so may as well fight. I do want to get as much experience as I can.
There are 2 enemies.
Oh, and to maybe finally get a scan in on these things.
Give me a sec. I'll scan the target.
Though I actually forgot what they use, and that could be disastrous. I'm sure they use Mudo, though. Do I have anything Mudo resistant here? You are immune to Mudo. Huh. And you're fairly low level, but your resistances are pretty nice, actually. I forgot about how good they were.
It seems the enemy's weak against light.
Okay, I think Lamia is immune to everything this thing can do except for Spirit Drain, because that's almighty and nothing can be immune to it. But yeah, so, like I said, weak to light, and so Ken does well. Ken, please actually hit with light. Oh, that's not good.
Last one. Don't let your... I won't let my power go to waste.
Okay, that definitely hit. If it did not hit, I'd be disappointed. There we go.
I guess that went alright.
That went more than alright. Oh, there's level 38. Funny, I should mention that. And that's also a lot of yen. Still not quite there at the boss floor yet, though. 2 more floors and then we will be. And you are more Phantom Masters. But Lord, I keep getting them confused. Probably because the Phantom Mage and Phantom Master are both in Persona Q, but the Phantom Lord is not, to my knowledge.
I won't let my power go to waste.
Ken-kun defeated an enemy.
Whoa, not bad.
See, people, Ken can be useful.
I guess that went alright.
I mean, those enemies were weak to Hummer, but still. That was very terrible experience, though. And another bow that I don't need. Lots of fodder to sell at the police station. I might go ahead and do that the next time we have a chance to do that. Since we'll be doing an Elizabeth date soon, I guess I can stop by there on the way to going to the Velvet Room. We're going to be cutting it very close to the deadline with the Elizabeth date, but... yeah, we're going to make it. We also need to get the next old document, actually, this Tartarus session. Now that I think about it. Another Jotun. Let's go for it. I don't think that Lamia has Mudor, though. I think it just has Mamudor.
There's one enemy. Attack.
And again, I can't kill 10, no. Tell Ken to use Hammer, because I would like him to... well, actually, it's resistant, so wouldn't really matter anyway, but... as always, this is probably not going to go as smoothly as it did last time. Nope, thought so. But yeah, really, criticals, debuff, status ailments are the best way to deal with this thing. The other good thing about instant death on it is that it's going to not give an opportunity to self-destruct. And yeah, weirdly enough, this is one of the few times that I'd actually be, hey, nice, okay with her using Marin Karen.
Enemy left.
Because against singular enemies that are fairly tough otherwise, it's actually not a bad use of her time. Still missed.
Please help me.
That was not a critical. Please use, thank you.
Such persistence.
Well, there's the critical.
Here's a chance. Let's get him. Get back here, you son of a...
That was not a kill, though. You are going third. You're probably going to break out of charm. And I, in fact, need to kill you very, very quickly. So I'm just going to go for my biggest physical attack that I have. Which is actually not this, but... it was enough. Definitely enough.
No shadows are left.
Definitely going for the 5 experience card. Which never moved. Okay, thank you, Shuffle Time, for making my job easier. Just rage. I mean, I guess I can't really complain. I've got a lot of good amounts of yen out of those. Not worth it. Let's just go up the stairs. One more floor and then the end. Fuku keeps going, oh, there's a strong enemy, be careful. Oh, you are another Jotun, aren't you? So... Another Jotun, most likely. And another Jotun. Okay, if that was a dead end, I would have panicked. But, not a dead end, thankfully. Yeah, at this point, I think I'm okay on experience. This time we have a singular boss, and it is quite a powerful one. Fuka's not exaggerating this time. So, we're going to go back and prepare now. Definitely best to prepare for this one. Actually, one of the tougher Tartarus bosses we've fought so far. Of course, the real one that everyone's waiting for is coming up later. We're almost at that one, the most infamous Tartarus boss of all time. I believe that after this boss, there'll be one more boss, and then there'll be the infamous one. But I just want to check on how everyone's doing. I just really wish I could check this through the menu directly like you could in later games, but oh well. So 33, 32, 34, almost 35. I probably should have fought one more enemy. Oh well. Also 34, but you are not nearly 35 yet. He does have Arculau though. You're still 32, so I'll need to take you back in. 37. Yeah. And 35 still. So, overall, pretty decent run. I might want to go back in and get a bit more experience, but that'll be after we fight the boss. And we won't be fighting the boss with this team. We'll be swapping out a few party members. But before that, we'll actually be doing some fusions. So, I will, yeah, see you back here for Velvet Room and boss action.